All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah. Coming this evening with a awesome message. And I might have to break this up in two parts. Um, I might have to do part 1 this evening and part 2 tomorrow morning because I want to cover this whole lesson. It's pretty much a lesson, but it's about a warning. And it's a warning to those who carry the light that are spirit and truth, meaning the Ruach teaches them spirit and truth. Uh, this message is for you. And we can say either, we can say it's a lesson or we can say it's a message. But I like to first and foremost start off by saying, if you have not the Holy Spirit, which the world call Holy Spirit, but it is likened to the Ruach HaKodesh living in you, being that teacher, residing in you, teaching you spirit and truth, and being the light in your right hand, this message is not for you. Sister Deborah don't have no problem with having the least and the less of the less tuning in, because I really don't like to be talking to a brick wall. I really don't. I think the words in which the Ruach speak out of me is spirit and truth. I think it holds the light, and I don't think individuals who don't hold Yah in them. I'm not talking about what your mouth hold. People's mouth tend to hold, oh, I'm saved. I know I'm in there. I know. It ain't about knowing. It's about your action after you've known. After you received, what are you now? Just a walking dummy? We got a lot of those in the world today. Matter of fact, probably 99.9. So I, Sister Deborah, would take out this a few minutes to allow individual to swoop the coop. That means go to another page so you can tune in to someone else's lesson, because this lesson is not for you. It's not for you if you don't know spirit and truth and you don't have the light in your right hand. This message is not for you. So it's not only going to be a message, it's going to be like a lesson to those who are residing in spirit and truth, who's walking in the light. Not, like I say, it's not what your mouth is saying. It's where you at in the spirit. Everything is from the level of the spirit. And that's one thing the Spirit of the Most High keep trying to make sure I am fully aware of. And I think that's one of the biggest mystery. The mystery that I think is really big is everybody think this thing is about cotton candy picking. You know, they think it's nothing to it. Just read it and get it and get it. They have no idea. The whole thing is spiritual. You know how he say we fight not against flesh and blood? You know why? Because flesh and blood don't hold this time. No, baby, no, baby. This whole overall has nothing to do with flesh and blood. That's why I say I feel like I'm talking to the brick wall most of the time. I'm talking to people. I don't care how long they've been on here. I don't care how long they've been on here. They are brick wall. Do you hear me? Because you tend to know and feel, and that's something else that I am embracing. And I said, I ain't gonna wait for no New Year's, as the world call it. I embraced it once the Father got on me about it. He said, stop trying to fit into the way people are. Use those gifts, those tools I've given you. It's for your journey, Deborah. Take those tools as you run this journey. And don't second guess the tools that I've given you to work this journey, to walk this journey. Don't second guess it. Because you can't find nobody on your left. You can't find nobody on your right. You can't look before you or look in the back you trying to find someone that also have the same tools you have. Don't look for them. Just run your race. You know you got the tools. You can talk about the tools so others can know that in his realm, in Yah's realm, there are tools. He give his to work with while they're on his journey. Okay? And it's not tools you can hide and proclaim you represent something that you don't. We're gonna cover that. That's just even in this lesson. I took it from a couple of verses, and I was like, wow, this fit right in. So this is going to be a lesson, and it's also going to be a message, but it's only to individuals with spirit and truth, those that have a light. I want to explain something to you. It doesn't mean a rat's behind because you own this devil platform. It doesn't mean anything. Or it might mean something to you, but it don't mean anything to me. In the spirit realm in which I walk in the Father, it doesn't mean nothing to me because I can discern. I can use those gifts and tools he's given me to already know what I'm talking to. But you know what? Like Abraham was going to sacrifice his son, I'm going to be about the Father's business. Because when it's said and done, they can be looking at Sister Deborah all cockeyed all they want. It ain't going to be no rats behind in the end. It ain't, and what's so big about it, it's not going to be, it ain't like it's going to really be an end for many. 99.9, you ain't going to have an end. You're going to have tribulation, perilous times, lawlessness. All that is sitting before you, and you see nothing, but you're walking in something. Come on now. You see nothing, but you're walking in something. Come on. I'm going to start on my lesson/message. But I gave the individual, hello in the live chat, it's good to see you. I gave individual time to not to bag out. Now, many of you all might say, well, it's not very many online. It's whoever tune in later on. How about that? Maybe they can understand what Sister Deborah said and know that they ain't got what it takes. Pull on out. Because let me tell y'all something. The spirit of the Most High is the only one can lead you to his spirit and truth that's being spoken. That's what people don't understand. It's not people who's dipping in and out. It's not people who come all the time to eat from the table and not give to the table because they think that it's okay for them to do that. And it is okay because most people don't understand you're born of the flesh. You're going to do everything that's okay for your flesh. And it's okay. Okay. But the thing about it, people come in and they come out. They listen to the video. They listen to it. It's really, that's why I put that statement. Don't come. Go. It's too many. It's thousands and thousands of messages on this here devil platform, especially leading the multitude. Go where the multitude give you the satisfying, itchy ears healing. Okay. This one here gonna give you spirit and truth with the light in the right hand. I'm a first and foremost come from, and this is a warning. That's why I say this is not a warning. Now, see, y'all don't know how much sense this made. The warning that I'm giving is to those who are in spirit and truth. What does it look like I'm giving the warning to somebody who don't know spirit, don't know truth, and don't have the light? What sense would it be for them to be on here listening to me and they are not spirit and truth? They don't know spirit and truth. They don't have the light. That means they don't even have the ruach. It wouldn't serve a purpose because when Sister Deborah get in it, I'm going to rumble in it. I'm going to be the boldness he created me to be for a time as this. And that's what he needs. His bold, faithful individuals out in this season. And it's not a season in this darkened days because people don't think it's dark. They think because everything's well with them, it's light, it's day, it's sun. That's how their heart of their flesh and the mind of the flesh thinking. Because they don't look at the overall of the day that he spoke would be dark days. Oh, no, it ain't dark days to me. And it ain't dark days to us. It ain't dark days to them because these things ain't happening to us. It's only happening to them. Let's get into it. I'm going from Psalms 51. I'm going back to David. David said something I think we all need to revisit. And this is a warning to those who are in spirit and truth, those who have the light, meaning those who have the Holy Spirit. This is a warning to you. The Holy Spirit deals with you from the inside, but he also have those to deal with you from the inside, from the outside, because a lot of things is already invested in these individuals. You see, he is invested in them. You see, but he still have hands out planting seeds, even while he's invested, because he's going to what? Increase it. You see, he's going to increase it. And like I said to y'all, there is too many out here trying to find their way. They are so lost, all because they going in the right way. They going the right way, but they can't find nobody else. They're going in the same direction they're going in. So they tend to feel that they in the wrong position. They're going in the wrong location. They're heading to the wrong direction. And I believe that he's also bringing them to the fold. And they coming in wobbling, disoriented. They coming in confused. Why? Because they trying to find that resting place. Because something in them, which is the Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, is teaching them and leading them, but they trying to figure out what is everybody else saying, something different than what I'm understanding on the inside. So the Father is also leading them. Those are the ones that's prolonging. It ain't that they prolonging, but they are the ones that he's going to take up out of here. So he's bringing them into the fold. Because right now I can understand how they feel, y'all. I'm telling you, I know how they feel. I can feel them. I can feel them lost because they think they are the lost ones. No, when I say they think they're the lost ones, they think because the Ruach is dealing with them from the inside, showing them this, showing them this, showing them this, directing them here and directing them there. And they trying to find the multitude is going in that same direction that's in them. They don't understand. No, baby, you don't wait for the ones on the outside. You follow that which is in you. And don't look to your left. Don't look to your right. Don't look up and don't look down. Focus on what is greater in you and run in that direction. Head to that direction, because that's what day we in. Okay. So I'm going to start with Psalms 51 and verse 5. I'm going to tell you, David in Psalms 51 really blessed this sister a great deal. And I thank the Most High for allowing the words in which he left to be a comfort unto me. And in Psalms 51, and we're going to verse 5. We covered this the other day, but there's so much in there, out of there, that needs to be a warning unto you. Okay, it's so much in it that should have been or should be a warning to you. And we're going to Psalms 51 and verse 5. Okay, in 51 and verse 5, it says, "Behold, I was shaped in iniquity." What would you think shape would be? What would you think David is saying when he say, "I was shaped in iniquity"? David says, "I was shaped in iniquity." We in verse 5, Psalms 51 and verse 5. And he said, "And in sin did my mother conceive me." When have we ever in our living looked at sin when we are when our children were conceived? When have we seen that to be? You know why? People stopped following Yah long time ago. Y'all, this is not a wake-up call today. This is where people been blind since then, and they'll never wake up. Never, ever wake up. So this is a blindness that's not requiring people eyes to open to see. And I'm speaking to those who are of spirit and truth, those who do carry the light, have the Ruach. Don't think that you're waiting for people to get to understand what they'll never understand. Don't wait for people to get something that they will never get. It's not meant for them, y'all. It's not meant for them. Okay? So here in Psalms 51 in verse 5, David is saying something very powerful, because no one can tell me that they have ever heard that conceiving a child was sin. You know why? That's the length of how long the ball has been dropped. Mm, 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 mm. How long the ball have been dropped, and never did a bishop, a pastor, a priest, an apostle, a prophet, a prophetess, a maureen, a seer, a watchman, a teacher, a minister never enlighten you that conceiving a child is sin. And it all 100. When you're a student of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, these are the things he teaches you. And I see now why he has to take me to the wilderness, away from people, where he can teach me and shape me the way he wants to from the inside out. That's where my school is held. And so he can tell me the truth of the whole matter. David sitting here, now just imagine, this way in Psalms. David says, behold, I was shaped in iniquity. I was shaped in iniquity. And in sin did my mother conceive me. No one on this earth can tell you they never knew that being conceived with child is a sin. It's sin. I'm going to show you how wrong y'all been to my father. I'm going to let you know you've been wrong all this time, and you're going to continue to be wrong. You know what type of wrong it is? It's evil and wicked. It's demonic. That's how wrong. Let me explain why. As I began to think about that lesson I taught last week about David, this whole Psalm 51, I began to feel what David was saying. Because somewhere in me during 2001, I think it was, I was on this devil platform talking almost in that type of mindset. And I kept telling the people, oh, we in travail. What is this travail? What do you mean travail? Why is travail is always connected to a woman that's pregnant? Why is even the Israel and Judah is their experience is like a woman in travail? What's this with travail? You see, I always wondered about that, and I spoke on so many videos concerning that. Now I'm going right back to what David is saying. David says here in Psalms 51 and verse 5, behold, that means look, y'all, look, I was shaped in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Do you see that? What is David saying? David is showing you how he was formed in the flesh in his mother's womb, which is iniquity. And in sin, she conceived him. Flesh is still sin. That's what people don't get, because they never was taught really what the flesh was. They threw in the soul to confuse you so you won't understand flesh and spirit. They threw in soul to confound and has won with victory the minds of everybody, because everybody turns to this word soul, not knowing that soul has no part in the kingdom. It is not something Yah created. It is what man created and placed in there so you will never find your way home. What is home? Knowing your flesh and your spirit. That's home, y'all. That's what you call a home run hitter. When you know flesh and spirit, that's a home run hitter. But what they do, let's put a third party in the middle to confound them, to confuse them. That's why I said Satan has successfully completed his mission, deceiving the whole world. And the world is fully 100% deceived. Okay? So here David is telling you that he in sin did my mom conceive me. Now, David's mother was married to his father. But he's still letting you know why. Because you all think everything you do in the flesh is good, it's righteous, it's just, it's upright. Nothing a man does in their flesh is good, it's righteous, it's upright, it's just. No. That's where iniquity is at, y'all. That's where our sin is at. That's where our wicked is at. Only in the flesh. That's why the flesh is never going to see the kingdom. But the way that people worship the flesh and put the flesh on pedestals and honor the flesh, boast the flesh, they live by the flesh and they're going to die by the flesh. And they think because the world don't really get it, they think y'all ain't got it. I like what David said though. Behold, y'all look. Verse 5, I was shaped in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. Because we keep thinking that this flesh is all that. Do y'all know that's the only thing that is overriding 99 point, let's say 15 trillion? Is their flesh. Their flesh is keeping them from understanding they have a spirit, or understanding that everything is found in the spirit. No one wants that. No one wants to have anything to do with the spiritual realm. They would love to rest, die, sleep, wake up to soul any time of the day. Because that was the middleman that flesh put in there, so you will never focus on flesh and spirit. Excellent job. They did an excellent job. I give it to them. They did it. They deceived the whole world with it. So what David is saying is that even when a man lay down with a woman, all he bringing forth is flesh. Ooh, you know what it remind me of, what the father had to check me on for the last 2 months. He said, Deborah, when I say a man leave his mother and father, Deborah, when I say a man leave his mother and father and cling to his wife, he ain't clinging to nothing but flesh. And I said, but Father, nobody knew that. That's on them. If they don't know it, that's on them. But just think, he said throughout your study guide, a man will leave his mother and father and he cleave to his wife, and they become one flesh. What do flesh has to do with the kingdom? Ooh, Deborah, you know you're wrong. That wasn't even, wait a minute, y'all, that wasn't a part of my study. The Ruach came up with that one. Let me tell y'all, that wasn't a part of my piece of paper here, y'all. But it fits right on in. And he kept telling me, he said, now, when I say that, just because men would take it and they'll go get all these women and say they can have many wives, all they're doing is having many flesh and have many sin conceiving children. You see, y'all? That's why you can separate what y'all is saying when they go talking about polygamy. Yeah, I told y'all, every time I talk polygamy, I told y'all all is connected to his flesh. Tell me what flesh can enter into the kingdom. So you have to get, Father, yeah, but Father, yeah, that is so simple. How could a ball be dropped there? Flesh is sin. It is an iniquity. It is against Yah. That's why these men can get on here and talk about polygamy. We can have many wives. This is what they're saying. We can have many flesh. And what do flesh has to do with the kingdom? Zero. Zip. But no, y'all want to teach that foolishness, that sick mess, and then look at me all cockeyed like I don't know what I'm talking about. This message is not for those who are not full of the Ruach. If you don't have the Ruach living in you and you don't have the light, back it up and land it down somewhere else to another page, because this page is not for you. This is strictly spirit and truth. So what happens? Right there, when he told me that, I was like, Father, I was teaching them also about unequally yoked. Unequally yoked. Before, when a man find a good thing, that's a man that have found a woman like unto himself. He's a man out of God's own heart, and he's looking to find a good thing that's like unto him, so where they can be what? Equally yoked. But he said, Deborah, 99 point, as many as you want to say it, they marry and thinking it's heavenly bound. It's something spiritual. He don't have nothing to do with your marriage. So sit your tails down and stop lying. Y'all has nothing to do with your marriage. All that Torah mess. That's why we are in the situation we're in now. It's because no one understood even what Torah was saying, what he had been trying to get people to see, which is the spiritual route, the spiritual walk, the spiritual talk. Because ride the fleshly, and that's what you see in the world now. That's what you see on these devil platforms, teaching. They teaching out of flesh, and they satisfying the flesh, and it's okay because the flesh going straight through the broad gate. Okay, and we're going to find that out tonight. So David is sitting here telling you here in Psalms 51 and verse 5, behold, look, I was born. No, he said, I was shaped in iniquity. I mean, his flesh was shaped in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. See, I keep trying to explain to y'all, having a baby in your womb is a sperm connecting its location to incubate that baby, and the mother organs are transferring oxygen and blood to supply the baby with more nutrients and so on. But the baby is not life until breath comes. Woo, Father, yeah. A baby is on the mother's breath until it come forth with what? The breath of Yah. And once that baby come out and don't take his own breath, then he never received the breath of Yah, and he don't live. What's so hard about that? Why people can't grip that? Why people can't understand that? It's because people are flesh. People are living flesh. And it's not so much as they just live in flesh, they're going to die flesh. Because this is the type of message that people don't want to hear. Because they have been taught something for so long, they would not turn away from what they've been taught for nothing. Not even for truth. Not even for righteous. That's why many people will get on here and not turn to that page, that video that talked about truth. The truth is Yah. Yah is truth. Do you think people are going to look at that? No. They don't want to know that much about him. They want to know that they can pretend, they can continue to play the role. They can continue to be a hypocrite. They can pretend to others, and others can pretend to them. Are we in there? Because no one are afraid of what is afterlife. No one is afraid. They have not a fear in their bodies. Why? Because they think that nobody's going to know afterwards. So only now while I'm living, people see me, people know me, and I got to put this role on, and I got to pretend I'm this, I got to pretend I'm that. But I don't care if after I'm gone, I'm just gone. That's how they thinking. They don't understand your walk on this world, in this world, is your eternal destiny on the other side. They have no idea. That's why I say don't play. Don't run around here and play and talk about you got the fruit of the Spirit. You got the rock. You got the Holy Spirit. You saved. And then walking around here with what he say? The seed of hate against the seed of the Spirit. Come on now. So here I like David, because David was willing, and I'm gonna tell you, him, Paul, and many others was willing to give us some sort of insight, in a sense, to like planting something in us so we can go to before the throne, which is Yah in us, and question these things. But people don't question it because they feel content with what they feel they know. Okay, so here he's talking about, and that makes a lot of sense. because you ain't bringing forth nothing but flesh. When a man and woman married each other and they become one, they become what? One in only the flesh. And he said this too is a mystery, because the mystery is, I'm here to give you the mystery. It don't mean a rat's behind that you and your husband got married, or your husband and you got married. Not to the Most High Yah. And the mystery is, which one is the seed of the Spirit? You see what I'm saying? Could both of them be the seed of the Spirit? Sure. But being the seed of the Spirit, both of them is equally yoked, because they have he have seek ye the kingdom of the Most High Yah, and she have seek ye the kingdom of the Most High Yah, and they came into a oneness in marriage, equally yoked. But these men out here of Judah running out and getting these women, talking about this is, I can have many wives and we want. You can have many flesh, because that's what you didn't know. He explained to you that it is a mystery. And what is the mystery? Spirit and truth, the light. And it's only given to his prophets. It was given to those prophets of that day, for those in that day. And for this day, don't think he ain't got his prophets and prophetess. You all are just liars from the pit of hell, and your mission is to come here and lie. And you do an excellent job. I can give that to you. But don't think y'all didn't know your job was excellent, because it ain't gonna interfere with nothing he got perfected in his book, because he knew who you are. He made sure you was down in the book that he know you gonna end up in. Okay? So here, when I see this, I think of how did they drop that ball again? And what I realized, the whole ball been dropped, y'all, of everything. That's why it's hard for people to come to this page and listen. It's because it's nothing Sister Deborah is saying that they have heard before. So if they haven't heard it before, it's an enemy to them. My words are an enemy. My words are an enemy to them, because they've been taught what they've been taught so long, to where they think that they got the light, and they don't even understand and know you're sitting in pitch black darkness, calling it light. You know, making wrong right, right wrong, bitter sweet, sweet bitter. That's what you're sitting in. Okay. So when I get to the book of Job, I'm going to help you all the way back. And I'm going to say again, Father Yah, thank you for really who you are all by yourself. And you don't need me and you don't need them to make you who you are. I'm just grateful you all that by yourself. And I thank you for even being okay. I thank the Father for helping me. And when you get to Job 14, and let's go to verse 1 and 2. In Job 14 and verse 1 and 2, listen to this. A man that is born, that means male and female, that is born of a woman is of a few days and full of trouble. Ooh, wait. Ooh, wait. Now, you look where it says a few days and full of trouble. How did it get full? Oh, Father Yah. Oh, Father Yah, you teaching this thing, Father Yah. Look at verse 14 of Job. Verse 1. It says, man, that means male and female, that is born of a woman, is full, is of a few days, just a few days, and they are what? Full of trouble. How can a newborn be full of trouble already? Oh, David, you nailed that thing. David nailed that. In Psalms 51 and verse 5, he nailed the truth. And here it is. You can find it all over the place now. Now, here you go in Job chapter 14 and verse 1. It says, a man that is born of a woman is of a few days and full of trouble. How did that baby be full of trouble only a few days? Ooh, they're born in iniquity. And they were born, they were, what David say, sin. They were born as sin when their mother conceived them. That's why. That's why. So you walk your tail around here and put yourself in the mold of an angel from the kingdom. And you all let in something. You's a liar from the pit of hell. No one willing to teach this thing in spirit and truth. No one willing to teach this thing with the light. When that's on you. Okay? I'm giving it to those who are full of the Ruach HaKodesh. They know spirit and truth, and the light is in their right hand. Here it is, and identical to what Job was saying. Let's go. Let me swing back there to bounce off of what Job was saying. Not Job, David. David said in Psalms 51 and verse 5, behold, I was shaped in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So all these knuckleheads out here running around thinking they doing something because they having these babies, dropping them all, and she's sinning, and they sinning, and they sinning, bringing forth sin. That's all you doing. You're bringing forth sin. You're bringing forth trouble. After a few days they born, they already full of trouble. Praise the mighty God. You see how the ball been dropped? You see how the ball been dropped? The ball was dropped a long time ago in Genesis chapter 1, y'all. That means that they've been lying since then. The whole house of Israel and the tribe of Judah been over here all past 400 years. They should have had it by right. And they still ain't picked no ball up to learn spirit and truth, to have the light in their right hand to teach you all. So here David confronted and said to us in verse 5, behold, I was shaped in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So everybody out there that's conceiving children is seed. And then you get to Job, and in Job chapter 14, it breaks it down. It says, man that is born, that means male and female, that is born of a woman of a few days. How did that newborn baby of a few days be full of trouble? David nailed it. That's why I keep going back to David, and everyone at 51, I'll be going. And anything David say, I keep going back to it. But I thought about it in the New Testament. It tells you, search Psalms. It tells us to do that. And I never knew why it tells us. It's because there's a lot of mysteries that David is saying to us. And the only way we would get it if we are obedient, go back to Psalm, we read what David is saying, and the Ruach in us enlighten us to the truth of the matter. So I'm sitting here in Job chapter 14, verse 1, and it says, a man, which is meaning male and female, that is born of a woman, is of a few days and full of trouble. Why would a newborn baby be full of trouble, y'all? I know it. You dropped the ball and they told you a bunch of lies, and that's all you willing to believe. It's a lie on top of the lie, on top of the lie, all because you want to say. Here, verse 2. He cometh forth like a flower, and is cut down. Woo! He flee also as a shadow, and continue not. Baby, y'all ain't number flesh being born. He's just showing you what flesh is. When you have a baby. See, what people didn't know is, and I didn't know the fullness of it, but I thank the Holy Spirit from being that teacher that he promised he would be. He said he would be a comforter. He would be a teacher of all things. He don't have to teach you from this book. That's why y'all are naive and sick, because you think everything he have to teach us, he got to come from this book. He don't have to come from this book. Who in the rest behind then fooled y'all and mess y'all up that bad to where y'all think he is the word, but he got to come through from these books. This book is not the word. He is the word. He's the first word. He's the last word. He's the middle, because he is the word. Heaven and earth shall pass away. What did I tell you? All these books gonna pass away. But the word, because he is the word. And because we trust in whatever man taught us, and man taught us that this book and these books, these lost books, these Enoch books, all of them is the word. It took us from the true word, which is the Most High God. And that's why we're lost today, greater than we ever been since the world began. Okay? So here in verse 2, it says in Job chapter 14 and verse 2, he cometh forth like a flower and is cut down. He flee also as the shadow. You know, that shadow of death. He flee also as a shadow and continue not. Don't mess with my father. Y'all got him bent up and bent down. Y'all got it wrong. You had it wrong. You're going to continue it wrong, and that's fine. Keep going through the broad gate. That's your direction, the broad gate. But when you enter near and you see the narrow gate, go for it. That's the true way. And it ain't going to be the way that those that's going through the broad gate. You go into that narrow gate, you go in that direction to the narrow gate. Don't switch up from the narrow to the broad. Stay in the narrow. That means your ways should not be their ways. Your thinking should not be their thinking. Your walking should not be their walking. Your talking should not be their talking. Your power should not be their power. The way you see things should not match them. The way you hear things should not match them. Why? Because y'all going into separate gates. Let them go through the broad gate. You don't have to go where the majority is going. You want to go where the least is headed. And if you don't see nobody going to the narrow gate, you keep going. Because that's the way for you. And it leads to life everlasting. And very few shall find their end. Let's continue. So as he began to talk, I began to hear him in verse 14 and verse 4 and 5. Let's go. Job 14 and verse 4 and 5. Oh my goodness, he finna get down now. In Job chapter 14 and verse 4 and 5. Now watch this, y'all. Pay attention to this. Now David just told you, when a woman conceive a child, that's sin. It's just sin she bringing forth. He was shaped in iniquity. Flesh, y'all. Flesh. That's what David is trying to get y'all to understand. And like I told y'all a little while ago, when a man and a woman is married, they become one flesh. That means they're supposed to have a oneness in their thinking, they oneness in their understanding, they oneness in their doing, only in the flesh. It has no connection to the oneness in Yah. Y'all don't understand that. So here, and that's why he said it's a mystery. He told him, when a man leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, they become one flesh. And that too is a mystery. And it's a sad thing that in the year 2025, y'all are now hearing it from the prophetess in the wilderness. Because the mystery only going to be brought down or revealed based on the prophets of today. Because that's what y'all saved it for. Revelation chapter 10. And they his servants, the prophets. Letting you know it ain't the prophets that you call prophets that be on these devil platforms and in these church calling themselves prophets. No, he's not talking about the mysteries. They're carrying the mystery. The prophet that he chose out of his own bosom before the foundation of the world, that he sent into the world for this time. This, the worstest time ever exists on the face of the earth. He sent his own. And nobody not supposed to receive them either. It's just like when he sent Yeshua HaMashiach. No one was supposed to receive them. No one. Not even the 12. No one was supposed to receive them. Well, that's how we are. We're not supposed to be received. And if Yah suffer someone to receive us, then they too are in the same fold as we are. You see, that's how they receive us. You see, is when they are also called to that same holy calling. Okay, so here in Job chapter 14 and verse 4 and 5, it reads, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Father, would you say that again to these people, please? Because David just nailed that thing. Now listen to what it says. Job chapter 14 and verse 4. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. If I had to ask the question, what do that mean? I can guarantee you not one will be able to answer it. Let me put it out there. Verse 14. Now, chapter 14 of Job, chapter 14 of Job, chapter 14 of Job, verse 4. Who can break that seal of what chapter 14 of Job, verse 4 is saying? Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. What does it mean? See, y'all been lied to. And even in the midnight hour, as we are in a day like no other, y'all still gonna be lied to, because people got this mindset that if it's something I never heard, I'm not gonna believe it, I'm not gonna receive it. And I love it because the Father said it. Deborah, they killed all my prophets and every man of Yah that I've sent for the same reason of what you're teaching now. So you see why they never got it. It makes sense. Okay. Flesh is unclean. So what comes out of flesh is also unclean. Okay. Good. Very good. You did it. But notice it says not one. It's answering the same thing. You hit it. You nailed it. You nailed the question. But I like where it says not one. He's letting you and I know that no matter what we say, no matter what flesh say, no matter what a man say, a king, a leader, a ruler, a president, or whatever, it's nothing clean of a flesh coming out of a woman. It's nothing clean about a sperm entering into a woman having a child. That's what he's also, you nailed it. You got the answer, but I'm just showing you, taking you even deeper. He's actually letting you know exactly what David was saying. Because the flesh is not a clean thing, y'all. So how is you going to get somebody's clean out of something that's unclean? Woo, Father Yah. Oh, you nailed that one, Father Yah. You can't, he says what? It can't be done. But you let these no good teachers out here, these people who out here preaching and teaching this message and teaching on these devil platform, you see how it's easy for them to manipulate the people. But you see, when Sister Deborah tried to explain to y'all, I come to bring the light out of darkness. He said in the end days, that which is in the dark shall come to the light. Only he can send his to bring the light, because he is the light. And he knows what needs to come out of darkness. And it's bringing truth, spirit and truth out of this darkness that's being had in the light. And when I tell y'all the ball been dropped, that's what's, the light been dropped long time ago. And you would have thought that the tribe of the 12 tribes call themselves Jacob would have picked it up by now. No, they're the starter of confusion. They always been the wrecker that wrecks everything, that destroy everything, that's violent, destruction, disobedient, rebellion, stiff-necked. Those are things they are to the Father, to the Creator, y'all. So what do you think they are to one another? What do you think they are to men and women? If they this way toward the Creator, then that should tell you who they are to each other. Why ain't no Negro precept that? Why ain't no Negro line that? Why ain't no Negro a little here and a little there that? Because they use you all. They need somebody. Okay, I got it. The Father said because they need somebody to deceive. And there's many out there that's looking and desiring to be deceived. Okay? So here you see in 14, and she nailed it. Who can bring a clean thing? Who gonna bring something clean out of an unclean thing? Not one. He's letting you know you can't bring nothing clean out of no flesh. Let's go to verse 5. Seeing his days are determined. Ooh, praise the Most High God. The number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. See, he's showing you the order of heaven. For that unclean thing. Praise the mighty Yah. Praise the mighty Yah. Praise the mighty Yah. Job 14, Verse 4, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Mm, mm. Ooh, that helps me out a great deal. It helps me out. Y'all don't understand how that really helps me out. Now I got to keep applying all of that he's teaching me toward realizing that, okay, Deborah, now do you see? You can't work with people. They don't even know themselves. So verse 5 says, seeing his days, they talking about the unclean thing, y'all. Seeing his days are determined, and the numbers of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Praise. You see that authority of the Father? He letting you know, I ordered these things this way. And that's what he's saying in verse 5. Y'all don't run nothing. People running around, these women running around here grabbing these babies, talking about, this mine, this my kid. He can't see his baby, and he can't see his baby. And he running around saying, I ain't paying no rent. I ain't paying to feed him. I don't care. You see how wicked? They don't even know the role that they play in this one sinful child coming to the world. Look how the father and the mother is playing in that same wicked role. Then people don't walk their tails around here like they haven't did reading in their study guide. What did it say? What did it tell them what it said, Deborah? Okay, watch this here. Verse 4. Wait a minute. Verse 1. A man that is born of a woman, which is a male and female, is of a few days and full of trouble. Look how his daddy don't want to take care of him. Don't want to house him nor feed him. His mama want to argue with the father because the father want to go drop another seed somewhere else and here. So much sin, y'all, so much wicked and everything is embedded in having children. You see? But what happens? When Yah chooses his, how do he choose him, Deborah? First, he did it before the foundation of the world. Then he put a timer on him, like he did Paul. Paul was doing the opposite because he was one of them lost sheep that went astray. But when it was his time up, hey, what happened? Get up. When he looked up, what did he say? When he fell off his horse, he looked up and said, yea, Lord. He knew what time it was. Go back and read it. He answered his calling instant. Y'all got us on a timer. Not no more, but I'm just saying that's how we work. And that's what he said. He said right here, listen to verse 5. Job chapter 14 and verse 5. Seeing his days are determined. Watch this here. And his numbers of his months are with thee. Now watch this here. And thou hast appointed. Woo, there it is. I have appointed his bounds, Deborah, that he cannot pass. You see? So when women out here cutting up and acting a fool, thinking this baby is mine, oh, he can't see his baby, and it's my baby, and the world tells the woman that it's his baby, why is that like that? Because it's out of order. If the men are out of order, then the women gonna be out of order. And if the women out of order, the children out of order. Only one don't know that is Judah. Judah is only a tribe that don't understand that. So if the man is out of order, then the woman is out of order. If the woman's out of order, then the kids is out of order. Any order that falls, it has to start from where it's at, the father. And if the dad, I'm gonna put the lowercase father. And if the lowercase father fall, then the woman gonna fall. And then if the woman fall, the children gonna fall. Only one don't understand that is Negroes. They don't understand the protocol. They don't understand it, y'all. They don't understand a child is born of a few days and full of trouble. The trouble of the father, the trouble of the mother, and the trouble that's going to be upon them just after a few days being born. They are full of trouble and ain't even been here but a few days. I love the way y'all rumble on this one. I love it. So let's go to Job chapter 5. In the book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 6 and 7. When I get to Job chapter 5 and verse 6 and 7, it reads, although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither do trouble spring out of the ground. Who can tell me what that is saying? Who can tell me exactly what that is saying? In Job chapter 5, verse 6, it says, although affliction cometh not forth of the dust. Okay? Neither do trouble spring out of the ground. Verse 7, yet a man is born into trouble, as the sparks fly it upward. I wonder, do anybody can answer that? Let's go over it again. Job chapter 5, verse 6. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither do trouble spring out of the ground. Verse 7. Yet man is born unto trouble, as the sparks fly it upward. Father, I just love you this evening. Oh, who can tell me what that is saying? Let's start with verse 6. I'll give a few minutes and see if someone can get that. Again, verse 6. Although affliction cometh not forth of dust. Okay? Neither do it trouble spring out of the ground. Right there, he's letting you know. The flesh itself is not what affliction come forth of the dust. Of the meaning the flesh itself, affliction come forth of the dust. Someone says they got it. What he's created from has no sin, but yet when a child is born, he is corrupted. Okay, I got you. But let's go, just start with 6 then. Although the affliction cometh not forth of the dust. Affliction cometh forth of the dust. Neither do trouble spring out of the ground. That's deep, y'all. That's deep. Yet a man is born into trouble. That's what it says in verse 7. Yet a man is born into trouble, as the sparks fly it upward. Okay? Affliction and trouble don't come from the dust itself. Right. And what is you're right. And what is dust? What is dust? Dust and spring it out of the ground will be considered what? Flesh. Right? So he's telling you that there is something missing. You almost got it. Come on. Okay. Verse 6. Although affliction cometh not, affliction cometh not forth of the dust. Let me grab this. Okay. Let me get this here. And I think this might even make me explain it even better. Affliction in Hebrew. Oh, good, very good. So the although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, and affliction in Hebrew means suffering, and not only just suffering but oppressed. So if you look at the ground and you look at dust, affliction meaning the suffering and oppression, meaning to be humbled oppressed, or suffering. Wait a minute, let me get that right. Word root. Wait a minute, no. Wait a minute, let me get the Hebrew word out. Let me get the strong. Let me just pull it up. Affliction. No, they don't give you nothing but affliction. They only give you the word affliction. That's it. Come on now. There got to be another Hebrew strong. Affliction, eternal suffering, inward stress, social humiliation. Okay, here go another one. Let me see. It's saying affliction, still saying affliction. Okay, so it's still saying affliction. It's saying it in that stress, suffering comes not from the dust, okay, nor from the ground. So it's saying that it don't come from the dust nor the ground, but us flesh in sin and iniquity, okay? But it's actually letting you know that it just don't come. It's just not coming from the dust or the ground, okay? Neither do trouble spring up out of the ground, okay? Yet man is born unto trouble. See, let me tell you what he said. Father, that's so deep. Oh, Father, thank you, Father, yeah. What he's saying is, once you hit verse 7, yet a man is born of trouble. The key to it, y'all, is born. It don't take effect until he's born. So it just don't come out of the ground, okay? It just don't come from the dust. Look at verse 7. That's where the mystery is at. Yet man is born into trouble. So it's being born into trouble. You see, going back to what I was explaining to you all, the same thing about a man. My battery's going out. Y'all gonna have to 1 minute. Let me get my card. Same thing I was explaining to you all. You can't tell a child to be a person that got a spirit and the child is breathing its own life. No, it don't have it until they're what? Born. So the moment they're born, they are full of trouble. You see? So he said while they're in his womb and they just dust and from the ground, they are not troubled. They are not afflicted. You see? Until they are what? Born. So the key mystery, we are in sin once we get the breath right, because now we are born. That's why he gave us a few days. Oh, Deborah, you in trouble. You gonna get in trouble. Let me go get my charger. Deborah ain't no good. Sister Deborah ain't no good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's why he said a child is born of a few days, y'all. You see what he did? And then they're full of trouble. You know what? I bet you. Now, let me not say I bet you. Did y'all get it? Let me know if you got it. Let me go over it again so I can show you what he said. And it's going to be so simple. Watch this here, you guys. So here we go. Where were we at? That is so deep. Job chapter 5 and verses 6 and 7. Though affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doeth trouble spring out of the ground. Okay? Come on here. How you gonna come up here? This thing here had a thing in front of it. Now, y'all, now I'll get this. This is really good to me. This is good to my spirit, Father, y'all. Because you know working right. Now look at verse 6 in Job chapter 5 and verse 6. Although affliction cometh not forth of dust, he said, the dust, neither do it trouble spring out of the ground. Meaning, see, a child is in a womb. It's not for the trouble then. That's what he's saying. He's saying that, but yet he said when he is born, the key is being born and into trouble as the spark flying upward. So he's letting you know you be born into it. You see, once you get that breath of life, you are born into trouble. That's why he also say after a child is born of a few days, he's full of trouble. What make a child full of trouble after a few days being born? There the answer is right there. Being born itself. So even though we run and we celebrate, I'm going to show you how they converted my father's word. He says, when you're born, you what? Cry. But when you pass away, you rejoice. He's letting you know being born into this world don't mean a rat's behind. I know you all thought that, hey, that's the best thing because you all have converted truth. The truth has been converted into a lie. And everybody dealt with the lie and enjoyed the lie to the point where they would live and die off the lie. They don't want nobody coming to them with truth. But they ain't going to get truth nowhere else. We in the midnight hour. It ain't time to play patty cake. It's time to get truth. Let that seed and then let that ruach increase and water that seed and bring that seed forth. And that's information in you. Now watch this. It says in verse 7, yet man is born unto trouble as the sparks fly it upward. That right there, that settled it right there. That settled everything David was said in Psalms 51 and verse 5. He said, I was shaped in iniquity. Woo, go David. And he said, and I was conceived by my mother in sin. His mother and father was married, but he's just letting you know. So all these years, even back into Torah, all this, it didn't mean nothing to nobody because you was conceived and you were born. You ain't born into nothing but a world of sin. It's what you are born as and who you are born for, who you come here to represent. How about that? How you like that? Who you come down here to represent. That's why it go into born of the spirit or you're born of the flesh. People, majority of people are born to come down here to satisfy and to get the best of their flesh. And then there's those that's come down. Guess what? I thought you're born of the spirit. No, you're born to follow the spirit of Yah. I said, okay, I see what you're saying. I get it. Yeah, you born of the flesh, mean you follow your flesh. But when you're born of the spirit, you follow Yah's spirit. Those are the only two, y'all. Ain't no soul in here. They just lied to you all. Because the elites and the Jesuit put soul in there, so you will never find your way home. And finding your way home means knowing the difference between the two. Because we're only battling the two. And in this lesson, you're going to learn the two that we're battling is flesh and spirit. Even our own flesh battle with our own spirit. Woo! Woo! Our own flesh battle with our own spirit. Ain't that deep? Even the ones that come to walk, to born to the flesh, guess what? They flesh is born to walk in its own ways and get its own pleasure from what it does in the flesh. But guess what? They spirit is good with it. Their spirit is enjoying it as well. See, that's what y'all didn't know. But your spirit that's following the spirit of Yah, it's well with following Yah. See, that's why I say the ball was dropped in Genesis 1. And in this day and time, he said that which is in the dark shall come to the light. And only one can bring that light out of darkness is Yah. And how is he doing it? He's sending his bold ones out in this end day to teach this thing in spirit and in truth. Yeshua said the time will come and the time is now when the Father, Yah, the true worshipers, I love that. The true worshipers will worship in spirit and in truth. That's letting you know, not in flesh, the way man teaches you, the way man manipulates you to believe everything is in flesh. But that's another ball that I said to the Father, that's been dropped. He said, yes, it's along with that too, Deborah. They forsaken the spirit. And when they forsaken the spirit, they forsaken me. They have no idea I'm spirit. And if you forsaken me, then you yourself is born to worship your flesh. Because see, what people did is they made everybody think that everything is about the flesh. And that's how people teach, preach, instill in people. All these people with all these administrative positions, they give them to themselves. If I can say I'm a pastor, they believe me, I'm a pastor. If I say that I'm an apostle, they believe me, I'm an apostle. I can say whatever I am, the flesh is going to believe it, I'm with it. But when the spirit pull up, you proclaim your purpose. In where? In the spirit of Yah. Not your purpose to deceive people in the flesh and calling your flesh a position, like many of these pastors, all these people on this devil platform, I'm going to say all of them, they have called themselves to their own calling. They have not been called by a holy calling. Ask Sister Deborah why. Because no spirit and truth is being taught. No one is teaching the people that, hey, y'all, we dropped the ball back in Genesis. Let's go pick it up. Let's rumble. Let's go way back in Genesis 1 and pick this bad boy up. They won't go back. They won't go back to nothing. They won't go to the New Testament, as they call it. I don't believe in the new and the old. I call it a oneness. Yah is a oneness. He is one. But when the Messiah came and he left, they dropped all the balls during that time. That's why they where they at today. Because this is a product of them dropping the ball. Because to me, Father, if they dropped it in Genesis 1, they gone. And that's how he taught me. Deborah, if they missed Genesis 1, they'd have missed me all down to the end. They better hope they can catch up with me come judgment. Okay? So let's go into here, and I want to show you all that you all have disrespected the Most High Yah again. I'm going to show you where the disrespect is at. And I find it to be disrespectful because I feel the 400 years should amount up to something. But it amounted up to what Yah knew it would. Don't get me wrong. True enough, he knew that it wasn't going to mount up to nothing, but still, he knew it. But in me, as a student of the Ruach HaKodesh, and he's teaching me from the wilderness, I still look at it and say, for Father, but nothing. I told y'all in Revelation chapter 10, if they understood me in spirit and truth, they could see that I said it was finished. But anything you get is coming from my servants, the prophet. He didn't tell you his servants, the pastor, his servants, the priest, his servants, the apostles, his servants, all these. That's why all these people calling themselves pastors and leading the multitude through the broad gate, because they called themselves that. But they fail to realize what happened to servant. Because that servant represents someone who works on behalf of serving Yah. That's why he called them his servant, the prophets. His servant, the pastor. But they can teach you for 20 years and you'll never hear them talk about themselves being a servant. They love the power of pastor. They love the power of priest. They love the power of an apostle. They love the power of prophet. They love the power of prophetess, Maureen, the seers, the watchmen. Wait a minute. Who are y'all? Are you a servant of the Most High God? Hold up. Where y'all going with all these positions? It doesn't matter no more because they're a long way from home. And home is spirit and truth. Home is where we understand the fullness of who he is. That's that light he said he bringing out of darkness in the end days. So let's go to Matthew chapter 7 and verse 22. Let's go there and I'm going to show y'all something. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 22. And yeah, I'm gonna come hard. I'm gonna go hard on this because when you pull up and mess up on my father, I'm gonna step into you and out of you. So, like I said, if you don't understand spirit and truth, boot your tail up out of here, because that's what I'm finna pull on you. The weapon called spirit and truth. Okay. So you can sit on here and think you know something, but if you don't know nothing, go on somewhere else and sit down. Because I'm finna pull up. Okay. I'm finna pull up. Okay. In Matthew chapter 7 and verse 22. When I see this, and I see in Matthew chapter 7, verse 22, Yeshua HaMashiach is speaking, but I really believe somewhere in this HaMashiach is speaking. I really believe HaMashiach is speaking. A lot of people don't know who HaMashiach is. They say they know, but you don't know. And you know what else? He told me today, y'all. He told me something that just blew my mind. I never told y'all this, but I'm going to go and tell you what he said. He said, Deborah, those that are branded as believers, they have to accept the fact that Yeshua was born in the tribe of Judah. You can't just believe he exists and not know what he exists as when he came on the earth. You can't just pull up in the kingdom, not accepting Yeshua when he came. You can't do that. And when you accept Yeshua, so any Gentiles that's out there or heathens, you're not going to pull up in the kingdom of the Most High Yah without accepting Yeshua, the Son of Man. The Son of Man had a nationality as flesh on the earth. You cannot make him another nationality and think you're going to walk up in the kingdom like that. You can hang it up. It ain't going to work. So the Father told me today, that's one thing. He ain't said that you have to accept and bow down to the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah. He's not telling you to do that in this day. But you are, to say that you are a believer, you got to believe that he came through the tribe of Judah. And in the process of believing that he came through the tribe of Judah, you got to know who the tribe of Judah was, that he came through. You can't just assume that, oh, he's a white man and, hey, I believe and I'm drafted in. No, he ain't going for that. So you can hang that up. You ain't going in, he said. You ain't going into his kingdom. So you can't just, it's just like us, Hebrew Israelites, that has been scattered, really, Judah, really scattered all over the place. If we ain't learning nothing in our scattered position and in our oppressed situation, when you are oppressed like we have been oppressed, why did it not allow us to turn to the Yah of our forefathers? Instead, we turn to you stupidity and killing one another. I sit back and watch how here I'm coming through the door. These two black ladies stopped to let the white lady go first and jumped in like I was taking a position from them so they can jump in front of me. Oh no, but we had to let the white lady go first. See, it's a rooted evil thing that's in Judah, that they learn to hate one another. They learn to turn against each other. And the Father want me to let y'all know, stop lying. Stop lying and telling people they got you like this. Since you've been over here, this is the way it is because they had you in captivity. Y'all said, stop lying. Stop lying. If you wanted him to teach you, he'll teach you the spirit and truth, the truth of the whole matter. Judah been going in captivity since they've been existing. And it's all due to disobedience. And it's all due to what they're doing, even in this land of their captives, killing one another, shedding blood, whoremongering, idling other gods. So he said, stop lying that they all of a sudden, what they doing to you here caused you to be the way that you are. Y'all said you's a lie and you've been a liar. You are more of a part of the lie, the father of lies. Because see, that's what I'm saying. In this day, if you ain't telling the truth, y'all better run from people who ain't telling the truth. Because to me, the truth is everything. I don't give a rat's behind. The truth is everything. And if we stand in this dark and evil day like no other, and we still sitting here to lie, trying to get somebody to think we the way that we are because somebody done something to us, use a lie from the pit of hell. The Most High Yah said, go back, way back in Genesis, and see how long he been turmoiling with you. You think Moses came off that mountain, threw them tablets down, and went into the house of Israel and killed more than 3,500 of them? Not even telling you how many women and children. Come on now, pull up. You ain't gonna be able to pull up nor pull out. Because the truth of the matter is, y'all been destroying Israel because they get too out of control. By grace and mercy, they still existing today because he's allowing them to kill each other. That's why they don't have no problem killing each other. They don't have no problem having all these wives, dropping all these seeds all over the world. You ain't dropping nothing but sin. Hello. My dead father, y'all. David taught me something. You ain't dropping nothing but sin. And all that sin that you dropping, don't think y'all ain't gonna drop you. Oh, Father, yeah, I'm in trouble tonight, ain't I? I'm in trouble. Matthew chapter 7, verse 22, it reads, many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have we cast out demons? And in thy name done many of wonders works? Now, the reason why I'm pulling up with this again, because within 28 days, which many of you all haven't noticed, I have gotten 35 new subscribers. I'm bringing this forth even for them because I don't know which one is the spiritual seed that's coming to find their way to the narrow gate. So I'm bringing this up, and I know many of you all have heard this, but when you get to Matthew's chapter 7 and verse 22, what I hear I don't hear Yeshua, I hear Hamashiach, okay? And he said, many will say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have we cast out demons, and in thy name done many of wonders. Okay, what is going on here? Anyone in the live chat, can you tell me what is actually taking place that caused this individual, these any, because it says, does it say many? Yes, it says many. It's allowing you to see that there will be many that's trying to justify something. And this is the reason why the ball has been dropped since Genesis, because they did not know who the Lamb was. They did not know who Christ was. They did not know who the beloved, the only begotten was. They only believed what man told them, and they ran with it. They didn't tarry for the Ruach to come live in them to be their teacher of all things. They just ran with man. They ran with flesh and believed them. So if anybody in the live chat can explain to me verse 22, many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out demons, and in thy name done many of wonders and works. Now, right here in this here, Yah is wanting me to bring light. Why? He says too much darkness been in here. Okay? In this one verse, many pastors, bishops, priests, many people have taught this and have taught it in full error. So he want me to bring something out of it, okay, which is light. Okay, we got what? They were never given any position of Yah, okay? A lot of people that is in religion, that's practicing religion, will be deceived and judged. Oh yes, that's true. That's true. If anybody else want to say something before I cover that, because the Spirit told me to clam on this, and I got to clam on to show you the mystery in this. Okay, I got to clam on it to show you the mystery, and I'm gonna give a minute. Maybe someone else can also see the mystery. Okay. And we in Matthew chapter 7, verse 22, and we're going to go to 23, but I'm going to show you something in 22. And what I see when I'm reading, and I explain to you all over and over and over, I don't read in a study guide and come out of it. I see more of what Yah shows me from the Spirit. And that's what I lean to, and I drill on, okay? And what he's showing me here is, let's go back. Matthew chapter 7, verse 22, many. So we know that there's going to be many. This many, he wants you to know, is coming from the multitude. Okay? This is the line that's going to be the multitude that's going in to the gate of where the goats are going to lead to, which is the lake of fire. Okay, first and foremost, I wanted to say that. That's why it's many. And then it says, we'll say, they would say. Now, there, I don't think they're going to be up there arguing with the Most High Yah, or debating like they horse mouth doing today, or they're not going to get away with thinking they're going to stand before glory and give their. But he's just showing you how their spiritual mind. See, y'all didn't know that you have a spirit mind and you have a spirit heart. Okay, you have a natural mind and you have a natural heart. So you hear them talking from their spiritual mind. Okay, and they thinking they're going to justify, okay, something they did in the flesh. So it shows you how all your wrong is going to go right back to where it came from, the kingdom. He knew you when you got down here that you was a liar. He knew that much of you. Okay, so therefore you're going to come back with that same mindset in your spirit, that same, because you was an angel once. You came down. But this time, your lying tail going to the lake of fire. How about that? How you like me now? How you like me now? Now, the mystery that's resting in here is, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name has cast out devils, and in thy name done miracle wonders and works. Now, this is what's going to be revealed to you all. This is what's powerful. Now, those who have an ear to hear, now you know that ear to hear is spiritual. Now, you know that this is a good, right here, something you can reveal to somebody. The mystery is, you notice they said, we have not prophesied. We have not prophesied in thy name. We have prophesied in thy name. Look at the boldness that they are willing to stand. Who are they standing before? They standing before Christ. Okay, they standing before Christ. That's why Christ want to give y'all this mystery of what's going on here. And what they're doing is they're trying to feel their way back by saying what they're saying. Why? Because this is the lie that you all been running around here saying on this earth. They just taking it back to the kingdom. The same lie the multitude is going to try to take back to the kingdom. What lie is that? That name. But what's a little different with they lie? Anybody know? What's a little different with they lie? What's the difference with they lie? You notice they using the name. And they swinging the name to identify the power. Oh, Father Yah. They missed it, Father Yah. It went straight over their head. Look at what he's saying. Have we not prophesied in thy name? It takes the power to prophesy. He said, when you receive the Holy Spirit, thou shalt what? Receive power. Comforter. You shall, the Ruach shall teach you all things. And it would what? Lead you and show you things to come. That's prophesying. So right there, he's telling you that we use the power that was in that name. Woo, Father, how did they know? How did they lie and tales know, Father? How did they lie and tales know? How did they lie and tales know? How did they know and the people down here don't? Oh, man. See, y'all didn't get it. Everything they said they used the name was with the power. Look at it, y'all. Don't look at me, cockeyed. Look at it. It's telling you. And in thy name, thou cast out demons. What was you casting the demons out with? The power. Now watch this here. And in thy name, thou cast out devils. And in thy name, done many wonderful works. They sitting here We know your name is the power, and we know your power is your name, and we use that name to use your power. Oh my Yah. That's the mystery in that, y'all. So when you teach that thing, teach that thing. Roll up on that thing and teach that to somebody. When you go back there, you notice every name, they called the name how many times? 1, 2, 3. And each name carried the power. The name carried an action. The first name was prophesying. The second name was casting out demons. The third name was doing many wonderful works. What they were saying is we use the name, and that's how we gain access to the power. Ooh, but Father, how did name is the power and your power is the name? How did they know it? You see, this is why I say people down here, y'all messed up. Y'all messed up. And then no, don't. I ain't finished with you. Watch what he said to him. Verse 23. And then I will profess to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye worker of iniquity. So how did the evil one know that the name represents the power and that the power represents the name? That's why you can't turn around and make the word a book, because you take the power from the word and the word from the power of who Yah is. You see how sick people have been? You see how we have lied on him? And they get back, these wicked evil ones stand be him know, yeah, I knew that name had power. I used it. I did this, I did this, I did this in your name. And all the things they did had required power. So how was they able to know that that name is connected to the power and that power is connected to that name? How did they know that? And everybody walking around here cockeyed today in the year 2025 don't preach that thing, don't teach that thing, don't minister that thing, because they don't want you to know it. You don't need to know it no way. If the Ruach don't teach you it, you don't need to know it, because look at them. They pulling up knowing, but it didn't do them no good. Why? Because the power know who he sent to represent his power. See, that's something they didn't know. They come pulling up, thought they were winners, because we can say we use your name to do that power. We use your name to prophesy. We use your name to cast out demons. We use your name to do wonderful works. See, this is what's wrong with y'all. That's why y'all a bunch of sick people, because you don't know the name. And then you don't know that the name is attached to the power, and you don't know who the power is, because you dropped the ball in Genesis chapter 1. When the power was creating everything, and Yah called it out by his word, and the power was creating it, everybody denied it. No one accepted that the power was present at the beginning. When he said let, he was talking to his power. Oh, yeah, right. So his word and his power is side by side. They work together. So with this hero, these things here doing, they coming back to glory and using the idea. Now, what this does for me is to let me understand that that's how sick the people are on earth, Deborah. They don't know the name, nor the power, nor the power, nor the name. But those wicked, evil ones, look what he said. I never knew you. So if I never knew you, you were coming from the wicked end. And then he says what? Ye that work iniquity. But the people that were sent down as the spiritual seed don't know what rests behind. Something wrong. Something wrong. Something wrong somewhere. So Sister Deborah is excited because I believe Yah is going to send someone to me that are full of the Ruach. They might not know everything, and it ain't nobody know everything. Give or take out of 100, give me about one. Now I go 10, going on to 20%. After that, I don't know nothing else. And I tell you what I know, and I tell you what I don't know. I'm not ashamed, because I am what you call fully endurance and long suffering, knowing what I know and have to sit around people that don't know nothing and try to teach this thing out of the Ruach that's in me, knowing that I'm talking to a brick wall. But yet I still have to keep teaching it and speaking it like Yeshua did. He had to keep walking with the disciples, even though they didn't even believe in him. He showed miracles and signs and wonders. He taught, they still didn't believe him. But it wasn't about them believing in him. Did y'all know that? I know 99.9 don't know what the rest behind this prophetess in the wilderness is said, but I'm bringing it out. I'm bringing that light out of darkness. Never one of them disciples ever believed the miracles, never believed a word he was saying. Important to the Most High Yah that Yeshua HaMashiach repeat what he was saying. Make sure they learned it. All he said to the Father, all that thou hast given me, I have not lost one. Meaning I stayed on track to what you gave me to give them. That's it. That's all the expectation of the Son of man was supposed to do. That's all he was supposed to do. Why? Because it wasn't his job to see to it that the disciples understood and they got it. It wasn't his job. See, that's why I say a lot of y'all lost. They had to get it from the Ruach HaKodesh that came on the day of Pentecostal. And when he indulged them and came in them, he brought everything that the Son of Man taught them, he brought it back to their remembrance. And he told you he'll do the same for you. I will teach you all things and bring all things back to your remembrance. Even as Sister Deborah talked about she was a little girl, what did I tell y'all? I can remember way back going in that basement and talking to a creator I never seen, but I yet believed. A little girl and wasn't afraid. He will bring those things back to your remembrance because he is the Ruach HaKodesh. He can do that. He is that. So because it's telling us much that those were wicked ones, but yet they knew something about the name and the power that was detached to the name. And if people don't see, even in this book, and if you run around and say the name is this, the name is this, and this name is that, and they ain't even got no name here. I guaranteed you it ain't the name you thought. It ain't the name you've been taught. It ain't the name that you believe. It ain't the name that the tribe of Judah is saying. It's not the name that the house of Israel is saying. It's not the name that the fake ooze over there is saying. It's not the name that Western America or no Ethiopian Bible is saying. It ain't the name. He came into us without us knowing the name. How dare we think that the name ain't in us? What is he going to pull up in us? See? They went up there saying that they said in thy name. Now watch this here. I'm going to enlighten y'all right here and now. Notice in verse 22, it says, we prophesied in thy name. What happened right there? This is the word. Where is the name? Where is the name? The Jesuits and the Roman Catholics didn't put it in there. Then it says, in thy name, how dare you use, in Matthew chapter 7, verse 22, you use the word name without a name being present. But you said this is the word. Woo-wee. The word was in the beginning. And like the Gospel of John, chapter 1, in the beginning was the word. And the word was with him. And the word is him. It was with him in the beginning. But what does it say? In the beginning was the word. And the word was with Yah. And the word is Yah. But what word do they have? God. You turn God around, that means dog. They snuck all kind of ways in there. But through the Ruach himself, the true teacher, he's the only one can bring this thing up and level it down right. So we can really understand what's what. You can't just read it up in here and think you got it. Because no one will read that and see that there was the wicked one being judged before the throne. Not before the throne, but before Yeshua. Not Yeshua, HaMashiach. And they talking about that name. See, because the Son of Man was the one born of the flesh. But Christ is the beloved, the only begotten. He was the spirit of Yah that came down with the Son of Man in the flesh. That was Christ. That was that power. Y'all didn't know they did you. That's why they using the power. That's why I know Homasiach is in here. They messing with him. They said something to him. He letting you know. I never knew you. You might as well get on kick. You worker of iniquity. But you see how they was able to use that name and that power to do things that they said they did? That's what people doing today. They slinging the name like they know the name. And they don't even understand without the power, you can't sling nothing. But at least the wicked knows that. But what about y'all? What's y'all problem? People running around here talking about, oh, the name is this, the name is that. Look, what is it you to know the name? And the power is not resting there in you. What is it you to know the name and Yah is not abiding in you? But people who have the Ruach in them, you go and tell them, yo, the name is this and the name is this. How do you know? I got them living in me. So that lets you know which one is better, the one who got to mumble it out of their mouth or the one that's living in me. He said, greater is he that's in you, Deborah. Deborah, greater is he that's in you, Deborah. Deborah, greater is he that's in you, not you saying my name. Because if he's greater in me, look like the name is in me. See, it's a spiritual thing. And that's why you got so many different denomination, religion, interpretation. It's because everybody trying to master that name. And they not mastering his spirit in them. They want to master the name on the outside of them. So their mouth, which is their sin, their flesh is full of sin. They want that to speak his name, but don't have him living in their spirit. Sit down. Stop clowning. Okay. Let's go to Corinthians. What time do I have? Corinthians chapter 1. In the book of Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 21. And we'll go to 25. Verse 21 and verse 25. Verse 21. Hey, no, First Corinthians. Okay. Chapter chapter 1 and verse 20. I'm all off. And verse 21. Let's start there. And it says, for after that is the wisdom of Yah. Now listen to what it says. For after that, in the wisdom of Yah, the word by wisdom knew not Yah. Now that's an example I have taught you all about. There's two wisdom, like there's two seeds down here on the earth. Okay. There's two wisdom. One wisdom is for the flesh and one wisdom is for the spirit. Nothing is greater than the wisdom of the spirit. Okay. Because if Yah is in you, you're going to have his wisdom of the spirit. If Yah is in you, you're going to have the wisdom of his knowledge. If Yah is in you, you're going to have understanding. That one that he said, and all you're getting, get understanding, you'll have that. Okay. So here in verse 21 of First Corinthians chapter 1, it says, for after that is in the wisdom of Yah, the world by wisdom knew not Yah. See, by the world wisdom, they didn't know Yah. Okay. Yah had his own wisdom, but the world used their wisdom. And that's what I try to teach you all. And I've been trying to teach you all. You will never be able to connect to Yah when you're living off the worldly wisdom, the worldly knowledge, the worldly understanding. That means all these pastors, priests, bishops, evangelists, apostles, prophets, prophetess, Maureen, seers, watchmen. All of these are flesh. Okay, they have their own wisdom. That's why they have their own understanding, their own interpretation. They have all of that, but they don't have the Ruach. Okay, so they teach it out of their flesh, not out of their spirit, where the true teacher resides. Okay, so here in verse 21, it says, watch this here, how Yah left their wisdom to be. Watch this here. It says, for after that, in the wisdom of Yah, the world by wisdom knew not Yah. By the world wisdom, they didn't know Yah. They didn't know Yah. They can't know. It pleased Yah by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believed. By the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. Okay. Now here he's explaining to you that it pleased Yah by the foolishness of the preaching to save them that believe. Why believe? Why believe? Because a lot of you all don't understand. Yah has four, give or take, maybe six, but I go with the four, maybe five. And the four is righteous, belief, faith, fear. You got hope. These are brands. You know how you brand a cow? When Yah has branded our spirit before we even get down here. There you go. You got it. Yah's brand. It's one of his brand. So he's letting you know they be preaching to minds foolishly with their wisdom and but they be teaching them it foolishly. They be preaching, but to save them that believe. See, they already believe, and they think they preaching to somebody that's sitting up there already believe, because the brand belief is there you go. Very good. That's what you can say. They already marked. And they sitting among people preaching, and they already believe. You tell me, ain't that sick? What did I just say to y'all earlier? There are individuals going to and fro on this earth that Yah has mentioned to me. They're trying to find their way. They know the way to the narrow gate, but they feel so different because they're trying to figure out, why do they know the way and others don't? Could they be wrong? That's how they feel it. Am I getting this, or is it me, or could I be wrong? Am I going in the wrong direction? They question them on their own self. And I understand that. I do it all the time, every day. When I wake up in the morning, when I go to bed at night, I'm questioning all that Yah has invested even in me, even himself being in me. I'm not questioning him being in me, but it's just like I shouldn't have no questions, none at all. But I do. Why? The flesh. The flesh. Okay. So here in verse 22, in verse 22, he says, for the Jews require a sign. That's true. Who is the Jews? The Hebrew Israelites. They always looking for a sign. See, they are never, and that's even to today. They're looking for a sign. They done got these women quiet. They done got these men, the true ones, quiet. They got everybody quiet, and everybody listening to those who ain't nowhere near Yah, but just got a mouth that's speaking wisdom of man, a mouth that's speaking knowledge of man, a mouth that's speaking understanding of man. That's why they like to jump from precept to precept, line to line, a little here and a little there. That's why the Christians don't even understand that they was just a used shield for the Roman Catholic, and they going down with them. That's on them. They still ain't figured. The Christians ain't even figured that out. You going down with the ship, baby. You know, like the Titanic, you going down with the ship. Okay, you've been the shield for the ship, so you gonna go down with it. Okay. You didn't covered up Roman Catholic for a little bit. You shielded them for a little bit too long. Them and the fake ooze over there. You've been working for them on their behalf. Now you going down with them. Okay, and it's too late. It's over. That's where you head. So live the high as a hog if you want to, and think that, hey. Okay, so here in verse 22, we in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 22. For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. They seek after worldly wisdom, y'all. But the Jews seek after a sign. See, everybody wants something on the outside. Outside of what? The flesh. They want the fleshly eyes to be satisfied. They want the fleshly ears to be satisfied. They ain't searching for what I keep trying to tell y'all. This thing is spirit. They ain't searching for that. Nobody wants that, y'all. I'm going to be honest with you. No one wants it. They say they do, but the honest truth, they don't want it. Okay. And verse 23, but we preach Christ. See that? Why Christ? Why Christ? But Christ is the word. Christ is the power. Christ is the spirit of the Most High God. That's who Christ is. And it tells you here, but unto them, no, at verse 23, but we preach Christ, crucifixion, unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greek foolishness. See, to them, it's like a stumbling block to them. It's foolishness. But that's what we're supposed to be teaching. Us as a tribe of Judah, we should have been able to take those 400 years and invest in finding our way back. But you know what we did? We decided to kill each other, sell each other drugs, degrade the women that Yah has put within us. Because what the men did not understand, the woman is your seed, baby. That come out of your sperm. That woman came out of you. So if she's so bad, that makes you to be extra bad. See, why can't people look at that stuff in common and make it and make it all make sense? Oh, they won't preach that thing like that. Like I just told you, they won't preach it. A woman is a man's sperm. That's how ignorant they are. So you can't say nothing about the woman until you have to bring the man down to that level. And if you bring the man down to that level, then you can bring the woman where the man is at that level. But you can't bring the woman down and the man stay at the level, because the woman comes from out of the man. That's his sperm. You see how dumb these Judah people is? And they sit here cursing their own sperms. They cursing their own blood. But that's what they were doing in their promised land. Go back to Ezekiel 36. They were doing the same thing. That's why y'all come telling Ezekiel, stand down, bro. Let me tell you who these people are, because you don't know. And he had to tell them, these people's over there doing everything under the sun. And if they can get to hell, they would have been down there doing it too. Okay? So this is the sort of stuff people won't preach. People won't teach this. That woman is a man's sperm. Stupid people. The iniquity of the fathers, I will visit of the children. He gave us so many reasons to always turn and say, wait a minute, it would have to be us first before we could say anything about a woman. It have to be us first before we can say anything about the children. Because they are sperms. Even the woman. See how stupid they are? You see how dumb they are? And they've been like this for a mighty long time. Go way back to Genesis. They've been that gone. No one would ever wonder why Abraham went in that dark vision, which was he had to be put to sleep. No one never really thought about that. They always talk about how he was telling him about he going to give him a son and all that, but they never cover why did he have to go in the uttermost darkness? Because he had to give him the other dark side of Israel, the tribe of Judah and all of them. He had to give them both sides. But nobody don't want to preach that other side that he had to give Abraham. Go back there and read it. It'll blow your mind. You'll wonder, well, why is he? I said, wait a minute, Father, wait a minute. You put Adam to sleep, didn't you? He said, this is a different sleep, Deborah. This is a sleep unto death. Why was he put to sleep to almost death? Because he's about to receive a darkness of great evil. See, they don't want to preach that and teach that. Oh, no. We can't teach that. These tribe of Judah, these Negroes ain't going to teach no righteous. They'll never teach righteous. If they ain't never righteous with your father, don't think they're going to be righteous with teaching you something. Wake up. Okay, so here in verse 20, we on 23. But we preach the Christ crucified unto the Jews a stumbling block, and to the Greek foolishness. See, it's a stumbling block to the Jews, and it's a foolish to the Greeks. Watch this here. But unto them which are called, both Jews and Greek, Christ. Do you know what that means, y'all? This is what y'all gonna learn tonight. Yah is not coming for everybody. Everybody is not the spiritual seed that's written in the Lamb Book of Life. Everybody is not going to go to Mount Zion. Why do you think Judah won't do right? Why did you think Judah ain't done right since Genesis? Because Judah thinking like y'all thinking today. All is well. I can murder up my family. I can bring drugs into my community. I can bring guns. Ain't nothing wrong with that. They bothering us. Everybody's always bothering you, but who's killing your people? Who's killing your daughters? Who's killing your wives? Who's killing your sons? Why is brother killing brother? Oh, but they're doing it in every race. But wait a minute. Your population then dropped down to 13, going on 12%. You ain't nobody, you won't even figure out that, will you? This is how gone they are. And you know what? It doesn't bother Yah. It doesn't bother him because he already know what he's coming for. You think he down here hooping and hollering up there? Wait a minute, now they're taking Judah away. Oh, they're taking Judah out. Y'all just as sick and big. Y'all keep playing, but you're only playing with yourself. You just running in a circle, lost with the cause and without, because you running around here thinking y'all gonna sit here and be up in the kingdom and on the earth. He everywhere, boo-hooing about you acting the fool. No, he ain't. Y'all out here doing all this and nobody. The men won't talk to the brethren. They won't talk to each other. No, they want to debate the name. Oh, we the Hebrew Israelite. We the tribe of Judah. Use the fool, and you're going to lose being the fool. Now, here in verse 24, 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 24, it says, but unto them which are called, both Jews and Greek, Christ. There go that name. That's that name, y'all. What is that name backed up with? Power. Okay? The power of Yah. See there, didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I tell y'all? It's the power. Thing that was said, what was that in Job? The ball was dropped. Y'all never learned it. You never will learn it, because when Yah send his light to pull out in a dark time as this, and you don't grip it, you don't get it, it ain't meant for you to get it. That means you are born to walk in your flesh. You're going to satisfy your flesh and your flesh only. Now, look at here where it's telling you here in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 23. But we, I'm one of them. Watch this here, 23. Preach Christ. Do y'all know Christ is the gospel? That's why the Son of Man was coming and saying, y'all, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He was telling you the gospel. The power of Yah, which was, is, and shall always be Christ, that came down in the flesh with the Son of Man. See, no one knew that that was the beloved, the only begotten. No one knew that that was the power that Yah created and asked the Lamb. See, they dropped it long time ago. See, they didn't know, and they still don't know, and it's over. So he said here, Christ, the power of Yah and the wisdom of Yah. Look at there, y'all. That's why I tell y'all, be careful running your mouths out here thinking you know something. It's in this day and time, it's time to learn about life, not like the light. It's time to learn spirit and truth. Same thing Yeshua said. He said, the time is come and the time is now, because he was on the earth. He said, but the time shall come when what is the truth? Those true ones that Yah is sending shall worship in spirit and in truth. And ain't nobody looking for them. They looking for these pastors, these evangelists, and these prophets, these prophetess, and all these warriors, these seers, these watchmen, all these fleshly teaching is what they yearn for. This is what they desire. This is what they seek for. And they're getting exactly what they asked for. That's how y'all rumble. Okay, he let them get what they want. Because I remember as a young person, I said, Father, why you let them hang them people from the trees like that? Look what they doing. They doing all kind of... You think he came off that throne to save people? You think he came off the throne? He don't even have to come off the throne. He could have saved them anyway. But did he? Why did not one person come on the ark? Millions of people in the world and not one able to come into the ark. He said, it's like that now. That's how they don't come. They don't come to this teaching because they are of their flesh. They love to understand in their flesh. They don't really have no other choice. That's their mission. That's their purpose. That's their calling, to walk in their flesh. You see how they don't have, that's just who they are. Okay. So what other verses there? Okay. Then verse 24, but unto them which are called, both Jews and Greek, Christ, the power of Yah. See, 99.20 trillion have no idea that Christ is the power of Yah. See, they didn't know that Christ was the name. Okay. And you can say Homosiach, that was the name. Okay. That carried the power. That was the name that carried the word. That was the name that carried the spirit that came down in the Son of Man as Emmanuel, Yah with us. And this is why the battle of all the different denominations and religions and interpretations is because they didn't know the name that came with the power, that came with the word, that came with the spirit. They didn't know it. They just assumed that Yeshua name was Christ. No, it wasn't. Yeshua was born of a woman. Christ was born as the Son of Yah. That's that beloved, the only begotten that came down. That's Yah created of himself to come down into the Son of Man. Okay? That's who was whooping and hooping when he went into Gethsemane. He wanted the disciples to stay asleep. And then he began to say, take away this bitter cup. I'm not mad. He was talking to Christ, y'all, which is Hamashiach. He couldn't go to the cross with y'all in him. Why ain't nobody figured that out? Who gonna take y'all to the cross and nail him? Who gonna take the Father, only begotten of the Son, Christ, and nail him to the cross? People, how you gonna nail that power to the cross? How you gonna nail that word to the cross? How you gonna nail that spirit of God to the cross? Didn't he say that he come in the flesh with the Son of Man as Emmanuel, meaning Yah with us? Who gonna nail Yah to the cross? You see how lost, and you see how they didn't drop the ball for so long. This is why I say they lost with a cause and without. They can't even comprehend spirit and truth. Matter of fact, they can't even see the light. And no matter how bright y'all make that light, they still can't see it. You can't nail my Father to the cross. That's what Yeshua was telling him. Take away this bitter cup, not my will, but thy will. Because now he knew he had to go on the cross as flesh, just to wipe the sin of the flesh. His whole mission was to minister to the flesh who Yah was, how to serve him, how to worship him, and how to not sin, as Adam did. He come to show us the victory of being in the flesh and still being able to uphold it. Now, with me, let me show you. I know, yeah. Like me, I would say, well, wait a minute, hold up now. He had you in him, Father. He had the power in you. He said the same thing. Didn't he tell you I was coming back for y'all? Didn't Yeshua tell you that the Comforter will come in you and abide in you and be with you forever? Didn't he tell us that? So we can't even say that Yeshua had the Father with him. That's why he was at no. We got offered that same. The day of Pentecost, you think they was up in that upper room because they were flesh? No, they was waiting for that spirit of the Most High Yah to come in them like it was in Yeshua. And no one never knew that was the Ruach HaKodesh in Yeshua with the word and the spirit. Oh, the power. That's the only way he could do it. He gets on the cross and you hear. And why is it people can't grip this? Who is he talking to? Abba, please. Why have thou forsaken me? Not please, but why have thou forsaken? Who are you talking to, Yeshua? Yeshua, who are you talking to? Oh, Deborah, I'm talking to Hamashiach. He done left me on this cross. And now I'm feeling it like a man. But that's what your mission was, bro. That's why you came in a woman in the tribe of Judah, the worstest tribe on the face of the earth. He allowed you to come to the worstest tribe. He could have picked any other tribe because Judah is one of the worstest. The things that they do, oh man. But he allowed the Messiah to come in it because the Messiah was coming to clean up all the sin, to wipe it away, to get it right back to where Adam came in before he sinned. But he was wanting to show us that we too can walk with Yah in us and not sin and not be of the world. So he said he was coming. So we can't even say that, oh, well, he had the Ruach, or he had the spirit of Yah in him, or he is Yah. Stop lying. He ain't Yah. He came with the beloved, the only begotten that Yah made of himself to come down in him It tells you he didn't just come with words. So what power is that? What is this just saying to you? Here in First Corinthians, and where is it at? 24. But unto them which are called, both Jew and Greek, Christ. There go the power. There go the word. There go the spirit. That's who Hamashiach is. The word called Christ. That's who Hamashiach is. That's the one Yeshua was telling us, y'all better repent. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. His whole ministry started off with that. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. What made the kingdom of heaven be at hand to us? Not because of the Son of Man, but because of Christ. That power of the Father, that word of the Father, that spirit of the Father that was invested in him so that he can complete the mission for the sin sacrifice, the blood sacrifice, the sin sacrifice of all of our sin, just to show us that we too can walk in that same likeness. And we could. We could. But what we do, forget that. We're going to sin. We're going to do what we want. He come and get us. We good. We agree with all this sin of our own tribe. That's in us. We agree with everything they doing. These women agree with everything these men are doing. These men agree with everything that the brothers is doing. They ain't chastising and discipline, correcting. They ain't falling under no guideline of the Creator. But they saying he better come get us. We know he come to get us. He got to come. He got to keep his word. They fail to realize he kept his word. Josh took your tail to the promised land. So that was the word he kept with Abraham. But there's another word of promise. And that other word of promise that y'all didn't even pay any attention to all way back in Genesis. So you lost now today. And that was the promise, that the promised land to Mount Zion is the spiritual promised land. See, he took you to the promised land. He told Abraham to the land. Oh, yes, Josh took y'all tails there. What you do? What you doing in this land here? Same old crap. So the promised land that we're going to next is the promised land of the spirit. It's going to be a holy place. Y'all going to be in the center. Y'all better wake up and know who y'all serving and stop running around here clowning and acting a fool. People quick to go in and out. You know why? They lost with a clause and without. They can't stand to hear anything that's spirit and truth because they've been molded to believe the lie throughout time after time, and they ain't going to settle for nothing but the lie. They ain't going to settle for the truth. They're going to only settle for the lie. So I like this here. Okay, so I like this. My next, let me see what time I'm almost done. 51, we're going right back to David, and David's going to say something to us that's very powerful. David is 51. We're going back to 51. I'm really kind of enjoying this 51, this chapter, Psalms in verse 50. Psalms chapter 51 in verse 6. Psalms chapter 51 in verse 6. And it reads, listen to this. Behold, now this is what I've been trying to teach as well. Psalms 51 and verse 6. Behold, thy desire truth in the inward part. You see that, y'all? So when Sister Deborah is talking about spirit and truth, and I be telling y'all I taught that truth, you see where it got to be. Inward part. That's in your spirit. That's where y'all has to abide. Make a fool of yourself all you want. Just like those who come up there, come judgment, tell them, when I did this in your name, I did this. That's what a lot of people are preparing themselves for. Because they want to be a liar down here. They want to serve Satan. They want to serve darkness. They want to serve wicked and evil. They want to continue getting their flesh satisfied down on the earth. And they think they're going to get victory when they come on the other side. No, you're not, baby. Everything you're going to be measured by that you do down here. Okay. So here in Psalms 51 and verse 6, listen to what David is saying. Behold, thy desired truth in the inward parts. So he letting you know. See this, and that's what long suffering and endurance, because everybody want to make this thing about the outer man. Everybody want to make this thing about the flesh. No one is want to be focused on the spirit. David is calling it out. And when David called this out, guess what that let me know? David had the Holy Spirit in him. Oh, yes, he did. He had the Ruach HaKodesh in him. Listen to what he said. In Psalms 51 and verse 6, behold, thy desired truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me know wisdom. You see him saying, make me know wisdom. So David is right there telling you this Ruach HaKodesh to the day of Pentecost, and many people thinking, saying they got, David calling it out. I got it already. It's in my inward part, a hidden place. And see, yeah, you see, he ain't saying in his soul. He ain't saying in his soul. He's telling you the inward part. That's his spirit. That's where y'all abide at. And then he turned around and identified the wisdom of y'all. He said, and y'all shall make me to know wisdom, because you're in my inner part. See, y'all wants to make it look like it don't matter. You don't have to have this. You don't have. David is already letting you know. Yah is in his inner part, and you should desire truth in your inner part. So when I taught that lesson as truth, I was explaining to you all that the Father told me go back and look at it, and he did. I went back to look at it, and I said, I'm sorry. He said, don't be. I said, these people are gone, Deborah. Because when I looked at it, I noticed it had very few views, less than anything. And he'd been teaching me, and he has in the last 7 years, he's been telling me, when you talk about me and it's directed me, it gives me the glory, it exalts me, it praise me. You ain't gonna get too many people looking at that. You ain't gonna get too many views. You ain't gonna get no likes. And that's what he revealed to me again. Now he does that like once every 7 to 8 months, but he revealed it to me again the other day. I was like, wow, that's deep. I'm sorry. He told me, don't be sorry for what? He's not. He know who's who and what's what. Okay. So here, David is telling us that we want to really understand this thing is inner. I know y'all been taught that it's on the outer. Oh, I don't have to be this. I don't have to have the fruits of the spirit. I don't have to do this. And I was saying to the Father yesterday about the labors. I said, I remember Yeshua saying, pray to the Father. He didn't say pray to him. He said, pray to the Father that he will send more labors in the vineyard. That Yah will send more labors in the vineyard. For what? I would say, for what? Those in the vineyard ain't listening to the Father. So what are they going to listen to the laborers for? That's me. That's what I be saying in the wilderness, y'all. I be saying stuff like that. That's why y'all always answer me when I say stuff, because I'm stupid. I ain't got no sense. I ask any question that comes to me, and I spill it out. He knows what I'm thinking anyway. I spill it out. But one thing I've learned is the reason why he gives me the answer to things is because he know deep in me, I want to know. It ain't no play with y'all. It ain't no patty cake, bake a man with you. It's about, Father, really, I want to learn who and what this is meaning and what this is saying. And you know what? It ain't so much as that I teach you all, because like he said, they gone. It ain't so much as that I teach y'all. It's so much as that I want to be able to know what y'all want me to know. And if you suffer me to know it, Father, I give you all glory and all praise for it. You see? So if you really pay attention to Psalm 51, David is sitting here in verse 6. He's telling you it's something in your inner man. And see, everybody dealing with that outer man. That's the problem right there. Because that outer man want a religion. It want a denomination. It want an interpretation. They want to have precepts, line, little here. They want to learn everything out of the flesh. But they don't want to tamper with the realm of the spirit. And that's the only place that y'all deal with us from a spiritual level. And we thinking it's all about the flesh. Didn't he just tell? Psalms 51 and verse 5. Behold, I was shaped in iniquity, and in sin my mother conceived me. He telling you right there, all that flesh, born up a few days and you full of trouble. What is it you want to learn in your flesh? See, that's where you know they sick. That's where you know. When I say sick, I mean the type of sick that caused people to get written in the Lamb in the book of Lake of Fire. That's that type of sick. That's how deep that sickness is. I believe, now this is me. I look at it and I say, okay, Father, you gave us 400 years in the 400 past, and we still here, and we still as dumb as we were when we walked across, got in the ship. As if, and then we run around talking about we awaken. That's just how gone we still are. And he said, we are not fully blind, we're just partially. Then what's wrong with us? The same thing been wrong with us since the beginning. We are disobedient, rebellion, and sick person. Now, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were that, but we were. Okay. But and then here, when you get to Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10. Okay, we just heard David tell us we have to want and desire that which is in the inner man. That's what David was talking about. He sit here and revealed to us that he had it in the inner man. That leads me to understand he had the Ruach HaKodesh in him. Then turn around and say he's going to give me from the inner man wisdom. So y'all would have to be in him. He's telling you it's hidden in his inner work. So all this time, we can sit here around here and lie and say that, the Ruach HaKodesh came doing when Yeshua HaMashiach came on saying, no, that ain't true, baby. No, that ain't true. That's why I was telling y'all about that lamb. Do your study. No, that ain't true. But like he said, they would rather believe the lie than the truth, and leave them there, Deborah. Leave them there. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10, and it reads, Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10, and it reads, finally, my brethren, be strong in Yah, in the Lord, and in the power of his might. Do y'all hear that? In the power of his might. That's trying to show y'all you can't walk around here talking about you know the name. And you have no detachment to the power. That's the trick that they came back saying, because they was thinking they gonna fool them as if they had the power wrapped it with the name, and the name was wrapped with the power. He said, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. And what bothers me, how did they know? And all these people run around here on YouTube pretending they know the name. You don't know a rat's behind because you left the power from it. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with Yah. And in the beginning, it was with Yah. So all that time, he's telling you the word. So now you go into the word from the beginning of Genesis, and then you hear him saying, let. Now you see where the power and the word work hand in hand. What everybody have done is exactly what it said. They have denied the power they're in. And that's the B. Why did they deny the power? Anybody know? Why did people deny the power? Anybody know? Why do everybody deny the power? Why is the Hebrew Israelites, the Christians, the Catholics, everybody deny the power? Anybody know? Anybody know? That's what I'm talking about. Nobody knows, because you really don't know. And you've been in this thing for so long, you still don't know. But you call yourself holy than thou. You call yourself saved. I'm ready. I'm going to the Mount Zion of the Most High Yah in your bosom. But you're going somewhere. You're waiting to go. Most of you going to die before it even that time. To keep you from understanding, keep you from going. Because that's not the place you're supposed to be going to. You're supposed to be asleep. Deception. Ephesians chapter 10. I forgot my question. What was my question? And you said deception. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Okay, you said deception. We were saying, why is it, it said it, and I asked the Father, I said, Father, in that study guide, it don't say very much about denying the power, but I heard it once. He said, because the power comes with a host of things, and they deny one, they deny it all. You see what I'm saying? So denying the power means you deny the word. Denying the word, you deny the power. And you deny the power, you deny the name. You see? So he's saying denying the power is consist of really all of himself. So when you're running your tail around here talking about I got the name, you got a fool. And you are a fool. Because with the name, it ain't going to do you no good without the power. And the power ain't going to do you no good without the name. And neither one is going to do you no good without the word. And without the spirit of Yah, you messed up from the floor. So you're running around here being holy than thou, and you're a fool in a circus, clowning. That's what all these people are doing on this devil platform. They're clowning up to the highest degree, and they got the multitude following them. Now, Let me explain to you why they denied the power. Let me explain to you the reason why they denied the power. They denied the power because that's the only way to salvation. That's the only way they're going to be delivered. That's the only way they're going to be saved. That's the only way they're going to be born again. The power is what's going to take you all the way back to the bosom of Yah. So they deny the power, and they have no idea the connection to the power is the word. They have no idea the connection to the power is the spirit of Yah. The connection to the power of Yah is Christ, the Hamashiach. See, they so messed up, and they don't care. And they still continue as they living, denying the power, and they think it's okay, and they loving it, they liking it, they dance about it, they sing about it, they think about it, they function about it. Every day of their living, they function on that level of fully denying the power. And they don't understand why. So when I asked him, I said, well, why is it only in there one time saying something about denying the power? He said, because when they denied one, they denied all, Deborah. Well, I'm going to keep on reminding them. For what? I know who I got invested in me and them. I'm not worried about them being denied the power. I put it in there once and that's it. And he didn't put it in there. They put it in, but that came from somewhere. Because I'm like saying, but it don't say much when that's who Yah is. He done said enough. His son Yeshua to really wipe us up with a mop. And if we couldn't get wiped up based on what Yeshua was saying in us. So in Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10, finally, my brother, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Y'all, you messed up. You messed up. Now watch this here. And verse 11 says, put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand the wiles of the devil. The only thing's going to keep you is that power, y'all. And if you ain't got that power intact with the word, and the word with the power, and the power with the spirit, and the spirit with the power, and the power makes up Christ, that's the body of Hamashiach. That's the head. And you sitting around here talking about you got the name. Sit your tail down. See if that name deliver you. See if that name save you. See if that name bring the ruach to your bosom and put you on fire. No, it won't. So you keep on running your mouth about the name and don't have the power. Keep on running your mouth about the name and don't have the word. Keep on running your mouth about the name and don't have the spirit. Keep on running up your mouth about the name and don't understand the name is connected to the Hamashiach, the one that is the head of the body. Sit your tails down. Talking about nothing. And verse 11, put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand the wiles of the devil. And see, they think that's something like they go in their cars and put on a jacket. That's how they teach it, y'all. They make it so simple and so, oh, it ain't about nothing. Just put on a whole, sit your tail down. You don't even know what the whole armor is. And he's telling those who have learned that Yah consists of the power, the word, the spirit, and of the body of Hamashiach, Christ. Put that on here. And then it tells you in verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principality, against powers, against rulers, and against darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And let me back that up and lay that bad boy down for you right quick. A lot of you all don't understand. He has told me that those are now totally level ground. That's what's on the earth right now. The principalities that was battling with the other angels that Yah has overseeing us, they all now on the earth. They on ground level. Okay, that's why it's a lawlessness. That's why you see all this stuff taking place. And all y'all got your eyes cocked up on next voting or Democratic, Republican, Donald Trump don't do this and Donald Trump, Biden this and all this stuff of the world. Yes, you do need to have your mindset on that. If you're born of the world and you're born of the flesh, those are the things that satisfies you and give you ease, those things of your flesh. So you about right, okay? But here, it lets you know in verse 12, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Now, what bothers me about that, and it bothers me dearly, It bothers me dearly because if people right now don't know the spiritual realm of Yah, they don't know the rats behind of what it's talking about right here. It's in here telling you, watch this here. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Then what is that? What else is the Father Yah? Father Yah, wait, hold up, Father Yah. Is something else? Is something else? What is it we wrestling with? And this is how ignorant people are. This is how lost people are. Because they have no idea what this verse is telling you. It's letting you know you're going up against spirits, y'all, that's unseen. And you running around here thinking you know something, and you don't. The battle, the serious, the real battle from the kingdom is unseen. So your butt need the unseen Yah to live in you to be a full protector of you. And even then, he even have angels still looking around about you to protect you from the unseen spirits that you cannot see. When people go up against you, they going up against your spirit and their spirit going up against you. So it ain't about your flesh. Oh, I don't like you because you look like this, or you don't like you because you did this to me. You said this to me. You said this. Or you cursed me. All these men killing these women because they what you call it? Quitting them and divorcing them. They going out here to killing and like it ain't like it's a candy store they in. And you don't have no black men putting a stop to none of it. That shows you the level of how dark Judah has always been. They never had no correction. They always was loaded with disobedient, rebellion, and stiff-necked. That means these are people that don't believe in following no kind of rules. So if they don't follow the rules of the land, this is why. They don't follow the rules of protocol of the Father. No, they don't follow that either. That's why the people are the way that they are. You see, it's a reason that you all might look at it and blame everybody else in the world. But when it all come down, you go sometimes realize, because it's no way you think you're going to kill people and you're going to do stuff and you're going to, now you go in jail, the rest of your life you're going to be in jail, and that's going to be the first place they're going to be getting rid of people when everything go down. How you going to get out of that jail? They're going to be men, going to be raping men and killing men left and right. That's what's going on now. Every time you turn around, when somebody got killed in the jail or somebody died in the jail, what's going on with that? And ain't nobody saying nothing. It's like, so what? You see? It's so much stuff is going on to everybody turning a deaf ear and a blind eye and making it okay. What they did is they turned wrong, right, and right, wrong. So here in verse 12 of Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12, he's actually letting you know flesh and blood is just flesh and blood, but the evil is what's inside of flesh and blood. They spirits, not no soul, y'all. As the Jesuits and the Roman Catholic put in this book to confuse you to never know your way home. See, you'll never know your way home if you keep soul in there. You'll know your way home when you study on the flesh and you study on the spirit. You'll know your way home then. You'll know what's going on, but you'll never know what's going on as long as you study in soul. Because that's a middleman that was put in there to confound, to confuse you, to deceive you. So you will never know the difference between the two Yah deals with, the two Yah sundown. And that was flesh, one to walk in the flesh. The one that comes down, he either going to walk in, or she going to walk in the flesh, the way of the flesh, or the one that come down is going to walk in the way of Yah, which is the spirit. That's how simple it is. When they put that soul there, they can talk that to people. It's rooted in their mind. And in verse 12, in Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12, it's letting you know that we're fighting against spirits. And that's why I told y'all to come back home, make sure you get home right. You got to take this thing out about this flesh. You got to deal with people that you're dealing with. It's their spirit that don't like you. It's their spirit that got hate for you. It's their spirit that it was Abel and Cain. Abel didn't do nothing to Cain. It was his spirit he didn't like. He killed. He wanted to kill him because of his spirit, y'all. It wasn't that he did anything to him. And you see it, didn't? He was killing him because that's his spirit he had. That's the spirit that he had in him. Okay? That hate. Okay, so a lot of things that's taking place, and that's just now when you seeing these people going around here killing people like this, it's going to be a great number of that. This food and raise up third level of this marijuana, and these people so sick they don't even understand that he putting chemicals. So you're going to see more people zombies. You know, they made you think it's for sick kids. Stop. They now this country has assigned to have more people. When these people are smoking this so-called weed that they have approved, and they're out here on this weed and them gummies, all these things to give them, those things are destroying your blood, your brain cells, and it making you not think and function as normal. Oh yeah, you're getting a good feel of being high, but you're getting an eternal messed up mind. Your mind ain't gonna be able to serve no God or no Yah. Your mind ain't gonna be able to make righteous decisions. So you smoke on, and you're gonna lose your life out here. So you go on and keep on running behind this world, getting everything the world tell you that's gonna make you feel good. Okay. Now I'm going to Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 7. In Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 7, it reads, "Know ye therefore that they which are faith and same are the children of Abraham." Now, this is the problem I have with that. I have a problem with that. Listen to what it says. No, that's not it. That's not it. I do have a problem with that. Let me go on to that's in Galatians chapter 3 and verse 7. I was in the wrong page, but I have a problem with this because it says, look what it says. "Know ye therefore that they which have, they which are of faith." What was that? One of the brands. Are the same are the children of Abraham. You're not going to be Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's seed because of the flesh bloodline. You're going to be only their seed because of the spiritual bloodline. That's what's going to Mount Zion. Not the flesh bloodline. He took your tails over to the promised land. Josh took you over there. Joshua took you there, and you cut up from the floor up. What makes you think he's going to take your tail right back to the promised land when he's coming to get those that's branded? See, people thinking, oh, we all going, and you sitting out here watching these men kill these women, and all you doing is killing your own seed. That's what I don't get. That shows me where Judah mindset is at. You killing up your own seeds, and you content. You don't see nothing wrong with it. Those women are your sperms, man. How dumb can you get? How dumb can a nation of people or a tribe of people get when you don't even understand, when you wounding your babies, you molesting your children, you sitting here killing your women, you killing your brothers, you taking guns into your communities, drugs to sell, top of the white man bring. The white man ain't causing you to sin. You think you're going to stand before glory and say, oh, the white man, you put us in that country and they did this, they did. He going to judge you the way he knew you before you got down here. You was just down here acting like you were going to have, you was acting the way you going to have eternal. Crazy. And that's what crazy going to go straight into the lake of fire. How you like me now? Do you like me now? You see, they don't understand. All this mess you're getting away with now, oh, it looks like you're getting away with something. This looks like you're doing something. Last place y'all want to be is locked up in somebody's jail. But Judah mindset, they don't care. If you can go in your community and sell drugs, you can go in your community with all this rap mess. You can go in your community with all this, with these guns and kill up. They only giving you that because they know your mind is just like they said, half human. Because that's the way they act. Oh, that every woman you see is a man's sperm. Something wrong with them. That's how they not educated. That's why they don't know nothing. They don't understand nothing. That's why Yah is coming after you. And no matter what you think you're doing, you want to run around and say, I'm a king, leader, and ruling. You so stupid, you don't understand that every woman every grandmama, every great, 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 great grandmama, every woman and every mother is your seed. So they only reacting to your ugliness because you're the sperm seed of who they are. That's why he never interferes with the women. He called them the forefathers. When he called stiff-necked rebellion and disobedience, he ain't talking about the women. He talking about the fathers. Because they still, Judah been over here past 400 years and have not figured it out that the way that you are is the way that your children are going to be. So if you see great-great-grandmama acting a fool, that's because you've been acting a fool. You see great grandmama, mama, aunt, and all them acting a fool because you've been acting a fool. The women is a product of the man. Because she is actually the seed out of the womb of a man's sperm. What is it they don't get? That's why he said he don't visit the iniquity of the woman because she ain't got no sperm to make that flesh. I'm going to visit the iniquity of the father's children, 3 to 4 generation. And that's why your women acting a fool, because you've been acting a fool way longer than that. Come on here, Deborah. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 3. Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 7. Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 7. Whereof I was made a minister according to the gift of the grace of Yah given unto me by the what? The effectual working of the what? The power. See that? You see what a power pull up? The power pull up with the gifts and the making you a minister. See? So when you run your tails around here and deny the power, you sicker than sick. You run around here, deny the power, which is the word, the spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, Hamashiach, the head of the body. You denying all that. And run around here telling somebody you got the name. Name yourself somewhere and sit down. How about that? Get somewhere and sit down. So here in Ephesians chapter 3 and verse 7, it says, whereof I was made a minister according to the gift of the grace, there go grace, of Yah, given unto me by the effectual working of the what? The power. Only the power can give you these abilities, y'all. So why are y'all walking y'all tails around here denying the power? Because you want to use deception to deceive all your nation. Your whole tribe is deceived. All because you deceived them happily. And they happily followed behind you. Okay. My next one is Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 19. And I'm going to stop there and pick this up tomorrow morning to complete it. In Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 19. Let's see what that is saying. Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 19. And what is exceedingly greatness of his power to usward who've believed. They're going to believe. One of the brands. See, y'all, you're not going to escape. I'm going to go and tell you something that's really truth about that. I've lived going on 65 years. And let me tell you, never, ever have I heard someone teach the brands. But as you do in your study guide, and the Ruach begin to open up and show you that I've been talking about the 4 brands, Deborah, from the beginning. They still don't know nothing. Here we are in the midnight hour, and they still have no idea of anything regarding the brand. But they'll look at you all cockeyed, like people are so offended by what they never knew. As if since they don't know it, they figure, hey, well, no, that ain't true. I can't believe that. I haven't been taught that. That's why they're going to get left behind. They have no idea. I have read where they're going to still be some left here. That 144 is not the whole house of Israel. You get what I'm saying? That's not the four houses on the corners of Israel. No one is really, none of them is figuring it out. They just assume that's the dumbness that's in Judah. That's what's in them before they even got over here. Because they never wanted to be up under the real creator, the most high God. So here, let me end this in Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 19. And what is the exceedingly greatness of his power to usward who've believed according to the working of his mighty power? See, y'all run your tails around here. You see how belief was connected to that power? You run your tails around here and think you the power. And that's where the problem is at. Everybody want to think that they the one is full of something, and they the one that got it, and they the one, and they forsaken the Father that is all power. They don't give a rat's behind about his power. But what they don't know is that's the only thing that can deliver you. They rather find every book on this earth to study than to understand the power of Yah. I, Sister Deborah, would like to say I appreciate each and every last one of you all tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in this evening, and I hope you got something out of it. And I'm going to pull up in the morning and complete part 2 of the warning. And I say unto you all, have a wonderful night, sleep, and I will be back. Appreciate you too. Shalom and shalom.